Hi, kindergarten. It's Miss Cliff. Today we're going to read a Level H book called Leap Year Birthday. Today we're going to discuss analyzing characters by retelling words, thoughts, and actions. The materials you'll need for today's lesson are the Analyze Character worksheet and a pencil. So today we will read a book about leap year birthdays, and we will learn what a leap year is. So let's look at our words to know. Our words to know today are beamed, earth, leap day, leap years, librarian, and sun. Let's head back to the back of the book, to the glossary, to figure out what those words mean. Now that we're in the glossary, let's take a look at what these words mean. Beamed, that means smiled brightly or happily. Show me your beaming smile. Good job. Earth, the third planet from the sun, the planet we live on. Leap day, February 29th, the extra day that occurs in the calendar every 4 years. We'll learn a little bit more about that in a minute. Leap years, years with an extra day in them, February 29th. Librarian, a person in charge of a library. And sun, the closest star to Earth and the center of our solar system. Now that we've defined all of the words that will be in our book, I have a poem I'd like to read to you. This poem is called 30 Days Has September. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except for February. It's the one, which only has 28 days clear and 29 in each leap year. To give us some more background knowledge on what a leap year is before we get into our book, we're going to watch a quick video.
Hey Larry, can you explain to me what a leap year is?
Sure. In the spring, trees grow new leaves and then lose them in the fall. The time between spring and fall is a leaf year in tree time.
No, a leap year. Leap.
Oh, well that must be a year when you're super happy. So you leap up and down with joy all year. The year of Jubilee.
I don't think that's it either. Isn't it just a year with one extra day?
Oh yeah, I think I've heard about those. They're pretty special too. They only come along like once every 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder why you need to have an extra day every 4 years.
Maybe it's God's bonus day. His gift to us for catching up on laundry and stuff.
I was reading something about the Earth traveling around the sun, and that to go all the way around, it takes 365 days and 6 hours.
Yep, 365. That's the number of days in a year. Wait, hold on. 365 days and 6 hours? Nobody ever told me about extra hours. I could use that extra time.
Wait a minute. Larry, you got it. Extra time.
I did?
Yeah, if you have an extra 6 hours in 1 year, after 2 years, you'll have an extra 12 hours.
And after 3 years, you have an extra 18 hours.
And after 4 years, you'll have an extra 24 hours. A whole day.
Woohoo! I'm leaping!
To keep the calendar on track, you have to add an extra day every 4 years. February 29th. Otherwise, you'd have too many extra hours saved up over time, and it would throw everything off.
Then it would snow in July, and we'd be celebrating Christmas at a water park. Actually, that sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun, but it would get kind of confusing.
Wow, all because it takes the Earth 365 days and 6 hours to rotate around the sun.
Yep. Thanks, Larry.
What'd I do?
You answered my question.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now that we have a little bit of prior knowledge about what a leap year is, now we're going to talk about our skill of analyzing characters. When we read a story, it's important to learn about and understand the main character. When readers analyze a character, they're considering the character's words, thoughts, and actions. So today, we are going to stop throughout the story to retell and recall the words, actions, and thoughts of Leroy, the main character, to help us understand him as a character. I'm going to read first, and then you are going to read after me. It was Leap Day, February 29th. It was a day that only comes once every 4 years. Go ahead and read that back to me. It was also Leroy's birthday. So was he 8 years old or only 2? Leroy was not sure. Your turn to read. So when was Leroy's birthday? Right, his birthday was February 29th. And why does Leroy think he might only be 2 years old? Right, he was born on a leap day, on a leap year. And we know from watching the video that that day only comes once every 4 years. So he's not sure if he's 8 years old or if he's only 2 years old, because that's how many times he's gotten to celebrate his actual birthday on February 29th. So let's stop and look at this picture. Leroy is thinking. He's not sure if he's celebrating 2 or 8. He's looking a little bit confused, isn't he? So let's stop here and go to your Analyzing Characters worksheet. We talked about how important it is to analyze a character so that we can understand them through their words, thoughts, and actions. So in the purple box on top, it says Leroy is confused. Would you agree? I think so. So we saw on page 4 that Leroy was confused. Why was he confused? I want you to pause the video and turn and talk with a parent or sibling about why Leroy was confused. What words, thoughts, or actions did Leroy show on page 4 to tell us that he was confused? Then I want you to go ahead and write a complete sentence to give an example about why he was confused. Go ahead and do that now. Now, I know on page 4, Leroy was confused because he wasn't sure if he was celebrating his 2nd birthday or his 8th birthday, because he does not understand how leap days and leap years work. So that's what I'm going to write for my example. On page 4, Leroy was not sure if he was celebrating his 2nd birthday or his 8th birthday. He does not understand leap years. Let's head back to our book. Leroy wanted to learn about Leap Day. He wanted to learn about people like him. Go ahead and read that back to me. Leroy and his mom went to the library. Read that back to me. Now, why would Leroy and his mom go to the library? What's at the library that they might need? Do you think they're going to the library to read some books? We know there's lots of books at the library, right? And we know that books have lots of information. I wonder what Leroy wants to learn from a book. What do you think? Do you think he wants to learn about leap days and leap years so he can answer his question about if he is 2 or if he's 8? Let's keep reading to find out. The librarian asked Leroy's mom to be the sun. She asked Leroy to be the earth. Your turn to read. Now I see some quotation marks on the word be. Does that mean that the mom is actually going to be the sun, or is she going to pretend? Right, she's going to pretend to be the sun. So that's why we see the quotations, because she's not actually going to be the sun. She's just going to pretend to be the sun. She told Leroy to spin like a top. She also told him to make a big loop around his mom. Every time you complete a spin, you complete one day, the librarian said. Every day, he also moved a little bit in his big loop around the sun. So I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to go ahead and read that portion and then unpause and come on back to me. Nice job, reader. So is Leroy learning about how leap years work? He is. The librarian is helping him understand. When he got back to the start, the librarian told him 1 year had gone by. That was 365 spins or days, she said. However, a year is really a little bit more than 365 days, she added. So I want you to again pause the video, go ahead and read this, and then come on back to me so we can continue. Nice work. If you got stuck on any words, I know that good readers look for chunks that they know and can also think about the sounds that they hear in the word to match the picture. We can also use prior knowledge from what we've been reading about Leroy and his journey to figure out what a leap year is to help us decode the word. That prior knowledge can help us figure out what that word could be too, because we want to make sure the words that we're reading make sense. For a full year, the earth has to spin a little bit more, the librarian explained. To do that, the earth needs an extra 6 hours every year, she said. Every 4 years, that adds up to 1 extra day, she added. Pause the video and go ahead and read. So this reminds me of our video. Our video told us that each year there's 6 extra hours. So do you see Leroy thinking here in his thought bubble? He is thinking 6 for 1 year, plus another 6 for 2 years, plus another 6 for 3 years, plus another 6 for 4 years. If we add all of those sixes up 4 times, that would be 24 hours. And 24 hours is one extra day. And that's the one extra day that gets added onto the calendar. And we call that leap day and leap year. And that's the day that's on Leroy's birthday. That is why leap years have 366 days, she said. Leroy got it at last. Go ahead and read that back to me. Now I want to stop here and think about Leroy as a character. So let's think about his words, his thoughts, and his actions. Now here on the page it says Leroy got it at last. What does that mean? It means that he understands what a leap day and a leap year is now. How do you think he feels about it? I think he feels happy. He's not confused anymore like he was at the beginning of the story. So, Leroy, the character, is starting to change in his thoughts and his feelings. Let's head back to our Analyzing Character worksheet. Now, here on the orange rectangle, it says Leroy is proud. Do you think Leroy is proud? I think that he is very proud. Why do you think he's proud? Let's look on page 11 and think about why he would be proud. What thoughts, words, or actions did Leroy use to show that he's proud? I want you to pause the video, turn and talk with a parent or sibling about this, and then I want you to write a complete sentence about why Leroy is proud. Go ahead and do that now. I think Leroy is proud because he went to the library and the librarian helped explain what a leap year is. So now he understands. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down on why Leroy is proud. So on page 11, Leroy finally understands what a leap day and leap year is. Right, let's go back to our story. Leroy's mom brought out a cake with 8 candles. Read that back to me. I'm starting to notice something about Leroy's cake. Did you notice anything in the picture? Let's keep reading. 6 candles were blue, 2 were red for his leap year birthdays. Read that back to me. Do you think Leroy is excited? It looks like he's excited to have his 6 candles for 6 years and then 2 candles for his 2 leap year birthdays because he's 8 years old, but he got to celebrate those 2 birthdays on a leap year, didn't he? Mom beamed at Leroy like the sun beams at the earth. Leroy beamed back. Read that to me. What do you think that means? Mom beamed at Leroy. Do you remember from our glossary? Right. Beamed means very happy and excited. Look at their big smiles to each other. Do you think they're having a good day? I think so too. Let's go to our analyzing characters chart. The last rectangle at the bottom, it says Leroy is loved. Do you think Leroy is loved? Can you give an example about his character and his words, thoughts, or actions, or even words, thoughts, and actions from other characters in the story? I want you to pause the video, turn and talk with a parent or sibling about why you think Leroy is loved, then write a complete sentence on the line. Go ahead and do that now. I know that Leroy is loved because in the book, especially at the end there, Mom threw him a surprise birthday party. So I know that Leroy is loved because his mom did something special for him. And Leroy and his mom were smiling. They were beaming at each other, weren't they? So I'm going to write on page 15, Leroy was beaming at his mom because she threw him a surprise birthday party and he was happy. Remember, we talked about that it's important to learn and understand about the main character. And when readers analyze a character, they're considering the character's words, thoughts, and actions. So today we observed Leroy in this book and his words, his thoughts, and his actions, as well as the words, thoughts, and actions of his mom. It's important to retell what's going on in the story and think through the character's words, thoughts, and actions so we can understand him as a character. Today, for your writing assignment, you are going to answer this question. Would you want your birthday to be on February 29th? You're going to write a paragraph with 4 or more sentences explaining why or why not. So, what's the magical word that you should have in your paragraph? You should have the word because in your paragraph. So, in your 4 sentences, you're going to explain why you would want your birthday on the leap year or why not. You're also going to complete the quick check for comprehension page, and you're going to submit your writing assignment, your comprehension, and also your analyzing characters page on Google Classroom. I also have some bonus crafts when you are finished with your writing assignments. Because we were talking about the leap year, which has a lot to do with the Earth and the sun and how they rotate with each other, I included a planets craft for you. So you can color and cut out these planets. You could put them in order. You could hang them from a hanger. I also have some other activities that you could do as well. You could make your own spaceship. You could do a craft using shaving cream and paint to make prints of the Earth or different planets. You could also use a toilet paper tube to make your own rocket ship. You could make your own space alien craft, or you could roll a marble and paint to make different designs on the planet. So I hope you have fun with this craft activity, and I hope you have fun with your writing activities as well. If you do any of these extra crafts, I hope that you'll take a picture and send it to your teacher because we would love to see it. All right, great job today, friends. Don't forget to go back and reread because that's what good readers do, and I will see you next time. Bye.